Nintendo's biggest surprises come in ways you didn't know you wanted. Case in point, I felt done with Labo after the vehicle kit. Don't get me wrong, the experience was really fun, but the road to get there took a while. The drastic big builds didn't let me hop into the action like the variety kit had, which had its own fair share of issues. The experiences were bite-sized and experimental, but not worth revisiting after a while. Right on cue comes Nintendo Labo Toy-Con 04 VR Kit. The experience is meant as a gap bridger between Labo's fantastic building aspect and the affordable virtual reality space. The result is far better than I imagined, and it might be the best Labo kit by a country mile. Every time I brought up the VR kit to friends, they wondered how good it would look with the Switch's 720p screen. While it looks a teensy bit grainy, I was actually impressed with how well the experiences themselves held up. Once I got over the initial reluctance, I just sat around in my swivel chair and had a good time seeing the games at hand. That being said, considering you have to hold all the parts, it may cause some strain maybe sooner than it should, but this is nothing that 1-minute breaks between long levels can't fix. The play menu is actually quite big, offering 10 sections to dive into. The first two are the camera games, Ocean Camera and House Camera. In Ocean Camera, you are in a 360-degree underwater environment where you shoot pictures of fish. No matter where you look, something will be happening. With your trusty Toy-Con camera in tow, you can look up and down to dive to different heights and see new things. You can also zoom in and focus on subjects. It is honestly a lot of fun and quite relaxing to play late at night. Sadly, I felt less strong about the house camera. While offering the same basic rules as the underwater version, it isn't all that exciting. This takes place in the same location as the Toy-Con house from the variety kit, but now there are glowing points that you can interact with. The room is limited and most of the events that occur happen seemingly out of nowhere. Mind you, it isn't bad or anything, just lackluster when compared to the rest of the main games. The two games that you play with the Toy-Con elephant were confusing at first, not because the games are bad, but more so because the control scheme is something that is hard to wrap your trunk around. While your left hand rests on the handle that holds the VR to your face, your right hand moves the trunk of the cardboard beast. It is done to create a sense of depth, which is honestly more impressive than it sounds. You really have to get used to how the trunk operates, but I found the idea incredibly clever. First off, the elephant has Marble Run. It's your job to move platforms into place and make sure a ball drops into a golden hoop. The trick is to move not just left and right, but forward and backward to bring objects closer to you. The difficulty ramps up fast after the initial puzzles, but the game is quite an intriguing challenge. The other game with the Toy-Con elephant is Doodle. In here, you will enter one of many rooms and create your own 3D drawings from scratch. There are tools to play around with, and you can even plaster them with stickers. The ease of use and intriguing results make it quite charming. The Toy-Con bird offered by far my favorite experience in the whole kit. In bird mode, you travel across a vast island and see chick eggs all spread across. By approaching one, you are tasked to find a certain type of food. Flap the bird's wings to gain speed, then move your head left and right to change the direction and take in the landscapes. There is something beautiful about exploring all the sections of the island and turning every chick into the proper bird that follows you around. You can combine the Toy-Con bird with the Toy-Con wind pedal for additional speed, which you will need in Bird Dash. By unlocking parts of the map in regular bird mode, you unlock time-based ring challenges in Bird Dash. It takes the basic mechanics of Bird, but gives them a lot more power and fast-paced action. The experience that you get in these speed-based challenges isn't unlike a roller coaster, particularly in VR. And the Toy-Con wind pedal has its own game too. Hop Dodge sees you helping a frog over gigantic circus balls coming your way. These can come in from any angle, which you have to look at with the traditional VR goggles. Then you'll have to find the best time to jump to avoid the doom of our little green friend. The final two main games can be played with the Toy-Con Blaster. The standard blaster mode sees you playing through 6 levels, which are each split into 3 sections. The goal is to shoot down every alien that you can find. Outside of the boss rooms, each section offers 30 aliens to destroy. Some are put in sneaky places, so you will need to look around the full 360 degrees. Depending on your accuracy and how many you manage to hit, you will get points that get added to your total. While 6 levels may seem short, Blaster is very much based around high scores. That being said, however, there are expert levels that you can find in Quick Play once you finish all the standard levels. These will throw you rougher enemy patterns into the mix, forcing you to look around a ton. Quick Play also allows you to go back to particular sections that you may want to play on their own. Even now I find myself going back to certain sections and find new strategies to handle them. The last Toy-Con Blaster game is Kablasta. In this multiplayer game, you suck up fruit with the gun and shoot it into the mouths of 4 hungry hippos. Only certain hippos will have their mouths open at a time, so you need to pick your battles. If you are successful, the hippo will join your squad, which adds a point to the overall total. After each throw, you pass the blaster back and forth until there are no beasties left. Also in the mix is the VR Plaza. Players can experience 64 minigames that are built using the new Toy-Con Garage VR. I wouldn't say that any of them are particularly impressive, but they are nice proofs of concept. The game allows you to tweak them as well by instantly going into the edit mode, which is a great way to learn the ropes. The selection is quite fun, with some using the actual Toy-Con, while others can be used with the VR goggles or simply without VR. In fact, there are some two-player games in there that don't use virtual reality even in the slightest. The VR Plaza games are here to showcase the density of the new Toy-Con Garage tools, which I really appreciate. That being said, I do think that the in-game tools also do a grand job of explaining the new Garage. While I'm still learning the ins and outs of the new editing modes and node options, I'm just really impressed with its potential. In fact, I can easily see myself making a game or two with it. Considering you place the elements within a 3D environment, it's far more intriguing than the standard Garage. Everything there was a lot more rudimentary, and you needed physical objects for them to make sense. The ideas are now shifted to a more digital form, which fits the overall flow of the VR kit. The tools aren't everlasting, but they do enough to make unique ideas possible. The Nintendo Labo VR kit is the first kit I really enjoyed without any major asterisks. The software has really championed the idea of understandable VR and built proper experiences around it. Where I found the games in previous Labo kits lacking in some ways, I just found it really fun to see everything this package holds. While yes, you still build all the Toy-Cons, they've shifted the focus somewhat more to the actual game modes. There's just a nice mixture of the two. While it may not be the sharpest way to experience what VR can bring, it brought a lot of smiles and some incredibly clever ideas. Thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to Nintendo World Report TV. You can also check out NintendoWorldReport.com for a whole lot more, and if you want to support both this channel and the site, you can check out Patreon.com/NWR. If you'd like to chat with us, there's a link to our Discord in the description.